We are on the air, Pops. What time is it?
It's Chomp time.
It is Chomp time indeed. Welcome one, welcome all. I am Mike. That is Pops. This is the Chomp Time podcast. This is episode 10. As you can tell, I'm in a much better mood. Football is upon us this weekend, so I'll be looking forward to being depressed on Monday. But for right now, we're good. Episode 10, I have named Helene on Earth. What do you think about that?
Ooh.
So hopefully everybody in Florida and all around the country is okay. Helene, is it a tropical storm, Pops?
It is now a tropical storm, yes.
So it's not a hurricane.
No, it hit land, Big Bend area, where it was projected to go 3 days ago. So they hit this one right in the money. Very significant. It was a Category 4 with 140-mile-an-hour winds. We were very lucky. We live in Venice, and it was way out in the Gulf. We just got the winds. We gusted at about 71, I think, is what we gusted at miles per hour. I was out there this morning. I have a 200-year-old oak tree out there, and it's a live oak. And I lost a few branches, so we were cutting the branches and getting rid of them. But no significant damage whatsoever.
Pops, I do not want you to give any more information on where you live and what vegetation and or trees are around your home. I think we've got a couple of followers that watch us in kind, but the internet, the interweb, it's a dangerous place out there. I want you to keep mom and yourself safe. No more information. You got me?
All right.
All right. So episode 10, Helene on Earth. Hopefully everyone is safe, like I said. We're going to have 3 segments today. We're going to go with 1, playoffs.
Playoffs?
We're going to talk about the playoffs, the college football playoffs, who we think is going to be in. We are going to talk about segment 2, disappointing teams in college football. I have one in mind right off the bat. And then 3, finally, we're going to do a little hodgepodge.
Hodgepodge. I like hodgepodge.
Hodgepodge. We're not doing any note cards. Just going to do a little hodgepodge. I have some trivia questions for you.
Okay.
Both in football and outside of football. We'll see how smart you actually are, Pops.
Not very.
So let's get right into it. You wanted to discuss the college football playoffs, which this year has 12 teams.
Yeah.
There's 4 big major conferences. All those conference winners get automatic bids, and then the other 8 are wild cards, correct?
That is correct, sir.
So go ahead. What do you have?
Should we start with just the 4 conference winners?
Yes.
Okay. This is who I have. ACC, Miami.
As do I.
Big 10, Ohio State.
I have them as well.
Big 12, Utah.
These teams are in trouble because I have that as well.
And the SEC, Alabama.
Oh, that's the one we have different. I have Georgia. They got a big game this weekend.
Yes, they do.
So you got those 4.
Yeah.
What else?
Okay, so there's 8 teams. Now, as I understand the ruling, how they're going to do it, is it's going to be a point kind of structure and all this good stuff trying to get the next best 8 teams.
Yes.
I will tell you who I think my next 8 teams are.
Okay.
In the ACC, I got Louisville.
Okay.
Is going to be one of the teams. In
Sure.
the Big 10, I have Oregon and I have Penn State.
So you got Oregon and Penn State to go with Ohio State. So you have 3 Big 10 teams. Go ahead.
In the Big 12, I have Iowa State with Utah.
Okay.
And here's where it gets interesting. The SEC. I have Alabama winning, as I said. Then I have Georgia, Texas, and Ole Miss all in. And I'll tell you how that's going to happen.
Texas and Ole Miss.
And let me tell you how that's going to happen. And then, of course, that's only 11 teams.
Yes.
Somehow or another, old Irish Notre Dame is going to get into this damn thing.
Yeah, but I think you're wrong right off the bat because I think one lower conference, the best lower conference winning team gets an automatic bid.
Yeah, I saw that.
So you just disregarded it? No,
I
not
did
according to.
because there's not a lower conference team that's even going to come close to any of these teams. It's ridiculous. I know they're trying to be fair. But anyway, okay, so I'll take Notre Dame out and I'll just put somebody else in. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Whoever
All
I put.
right. Well, yes, but I think the rule now a few things off the top here, kind of early into this episode. We weren't sure we were going to do this episode because of Helene. We weren't sure we were going to do this episode because of a doctor appointment, which was canceled. So we're not exactly fully ready to go, but
Yeah,
we have enough entertainment lined up for y'all in the next 20, 25 minutes. I'm not sure what the actual rules are.
yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure it's the four major conferences, the conference winner automatic bid. I think
I
one
think,
of the lower conferences, the highest ranked conference winner amongst the non-power
yeah,
four, gets an automatic bid.
yeah.
So for me, I have that team being James Madison, JMU.
All right.
They've had a pretty good team for the last couple of years. Every now and then I hear them on Sports Center. I think they'll sneak in. They'll be the modern version of what Boise State was
All right.
10, 15 years ago.
All right.
So I have
Who's your
Ohio State.
eight?
What?
Who's your 8 teams?
Well, I have Ohio State, Georgia, Miami, and Utah as the conference title champions with the automatic bids. Ohio State, Georgia, Miami, and Utah. Then I have James Madison. I have Alabama, Michigan, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, BYU, Texas, and Penn State.
Okay.
So if you're keeping track at home, I believe I have three. I have three from the SEC: Georgia, Alabama, and Ole Miss. I only have. Oh wait, I have four because Texas is now.
Yeah.
So I have Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss, and Georgia. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if four SEC teams makes it.
No, I that's what I have, and let me explain my part of how I think this is going to happen in the SEC. I picked Alabama. Okay, so for right now, they have home this week against Georgia. They're at Tennessee. They're home against Mizzou, and they're at LSU. That's their four toughest games coming up. Okay.
Yes.
Now, Georgia, they're at Alabama. They're at Texas. Um, they're at Tennessee. I'm sorry, they're home against Tennessee. That's going to be a very tough schedule for Georgia, trying to get to the number one spot. Texas, they're at Oklahoma. They're home against Georgia, and they're at Texas A&M. And Ole Miss, I like this situation with Ole Miss. Their toughest three games are Georgia at home, at LSU, home against Oklahoma. That's why I pick Ole Miss to make the playoffs.
All right, give me your final game prediction. Who's playing who and who's winning?
Oh, I didn't go that far.
Well, go that far right now, pal.
Okay, so based on the fact that all these teams, these 8 teams, got to play each other because the 4 top teams have byes, I would say that Ole Miss, Texas.
You're only naming 2 teams. So you
Oh,
have Ole
you mean?
Miss,
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant the whole playoff thing.
the
Who do I
final
think's going
game.
to be the final game?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Texas and, believe it or not, Ole Miss.
You are incorrect.
Okay.
It's going to be Ohio State and Texas, and I have Texas winning it all, and the Heisman Trophy campaign for Mr. Arch Manning in full swing for 2025.
Mm.
That's the correct answer. So you were kind of there. You were close. And that will play itself out. So anybody that wants to bet on everything, there it is. Ohio State against Texas. Texas will win. I'll even give you the score. It's going to be 34-22. 34-22. Texas over Ohio State. I don't know what the date of that game is, but put it down. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Let's move on to segment.
And who did I have?
I don't remember. It's irrelevant because you were wrong. Number two, segment 2, disappointing teams. Go ahead. Who do you got for disappointing teams?
Well, it's obvious. FSU is kind of in the shitter right now. I mean, they're they're 1-3. That was so bad. Their one victory against Cal. Okay, Cal had 410 yards, and the explosive FSU offense had 284 total yards. That was their victory.
They barely won that game.
Yeah. That's my number one disappointing team.
Yeah, I don't really have. I mean, it's early in the season. We're at the quarter pole, basically. And I have Florida being, but that's because I'm a homer and I'm a huge Florida fan. I thought we would play much better against Miami. I didn't necessarily be disappointed that we lost that game. I was just highly disappointed that we played so poorly. Yeah. And exactly the same ditto with Texas A&M. That first half was one of the most disappointing first halves of any Florida Gator football game I've ever watched.
I agree.
Given the enormity from us in Gator Nation of that game, everything on the line, not everything on the line, but it wasn't a must-win game, but such a big game for the program, for our coach, for our players. He decides to go with 2 quarterbacks. We have a superstar in waiting at quarterback, a 5-star DJ, and they come out and are down 20-0 at home with barely even a lick of a pulse. It was disgusting. So I do, even though we're 2-2, we've won the 2 games we were supposed to win. Yeah. They were against awful teams. I still say the 2 most disappointing teams in the entire country are UF and FSU.
Well, I'll give you another team who I think is, I'm kind of surprised.
Please do.
And it's the Kentucky Wildcats. They've been on a roll last few years, and usually a really, really good rushing team. They've recruited well, they've used the portal well, and they started the SEC 0-2.
Is it Stoops? Is Stoops the head coach there?
He still is, yes.
And is he related to Bob Stoops?
That would be his brother.
Oh, all right. I thought Stoops is not a very common name, but there was a lot of hubbub about Kentucky going into the year. That's a really good pull by you. And they almost beat Georgia, right? But
they lost 13-12. They really should have won the game. Okay. Yes. They got blown out by South Carolina, 31-6.
Oh, right. And then somehow they took Georgia to the wire. Yeah. But still, it's still a loss by 1 or 40. It's a loss. And the loss to South Carolina was very demoralizing, very surprising.
Well, the other thing is that they got Ole Miss this week, and then they have Vandy, then they have us. So it's going to be tough for them too. Vandy's playing some good ball this year.
Who's their head coach? Do you know?
New guy, but he's.
I'll look that up in post. Our crack information team apparently on both ends of our phone did not get that information. What? Nope. My producer Ahmed does not have it. He does not have it, so I'll do it in post. Okay. But that was a quick 2 segments. The playoffs, disappointing teams. Let's go into hodgepodge. Let's have a little fun here the remainder of the episode.
Let's go.
Let's talk about American alligators.
Yeah.
I'm going to quiz you, give you a couple random questions on American alligators, test your knowledge.
Okay.
I'm guessing that you are going to go, 0 for whatever I asked you.
I saw one yesterday. It was about a 7-footer.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
Was it in your living room?
It was not. It was out in a pond. We got 39 lakes out here, so yeah.
All right, stop talking about where you live.
Shut up. Let's go.
All right. American alligators. At any current time, the average American alligator has how many teeth in their mouth at any given time?
22. I don't know.
That is incorrect, not even close. It's 74 to 80.
Woo!
74 to 80 teeth in their mouth at any given time, American alligators. How many teeth do they go through on average in their lifetime?
300.
Alligator. Did you say 300?
300.
You are incorrect again. It's 2,000 to 3,000 teeth in their lifetime.
Wow.
A group of alligators, so a
Yeah.
group of geese is a gaggle, right?
Yeah.
A group of crows is a murder of crows.
Yeah.
A herd of whatever.
Yeah.
What is a group of alligators called? I am going to be correct. You're going to get all of these wrong.
A group of alligators.
Yes.
Frightening.
That's not bad. I like that. Incorrect, though. The answer is a congregation of alligators.
Okay.
Or at least that's what Google tells me, and Google hasn't been wrong in decades.
Never.
So, when talking about, there was one time, I want to say 15, 20 years ago, on either a program at the University of Florida, they accidentally put a crocodile on the cover of the program.
I remember that.
I think it was the program or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And so the difference between crocodiles and alligators, what?
Snout. Their snout.
Oh my God, he got one right. That is correct. You
Yeah.
know the specific difference of the snout.
One's round and the other one is, I forget.
I'm going to give you credit for that. I'm going to be a lax teacher and give you credit. The
Okay.
snout of a gator is a U shape, so roundish.
Yeah.
And the snout of a crocodile has a V shape.
Okay.
So good for you. You actually you did well in that last two-parter. I will throw in that crocodiles attack whenever provoked.
Yes.
Crocodiles.
Yes.
They'll eat whenever, whatever. Don't piss off a crocodile. Alligators only eat when they're hungry, which is interesting. I wanted to throw that little fact in there because apparently our football team has not been hungry in a while.
I guess we're not feeding them.
Oh, we need to get hungry with everyone doing the Gator Chomp. It's time for us to get a little grit, a little passion.
And
don't follow our coach. I did see
of the Gator Chomp. Let me say
What?
this. And speaking of the Gator Chomp, I'm sick and tired of watching teams score and do the Gator Chomp on us. Stop letting them score.
And we do it, so it's fair to do it. But teams that did that in the past would almost immediately regret it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking 5, 10, 15, definitely 20, 30 years ago. You don't do the chop at Florida, we kick your ass after that.
That's
and
correct.
Now they're just doing it every single, even Mississippi State did it, and they were losing by like 20 points when they did it.
Yeah.
We need to find a way. I don't want people getting hurt. I'm not asking for major violence, but
yeah.
something needs to be done. That is our symbol. That is our trademark. Whether it's at home or on the road, I do not like seeing other teams doing.
As you would say, we need to stop them.
Yeah. I mean, it's very similar to when somebody says, "Oh, you're running up the score." Stop us.
Yeah.
You want us to stop doing the Gator Chop? Well, you got to beat us into oblivion.
Yeah.
Make us look like complete fools. So if you do the Gator Chop, you're down 41-7, and the guys on ESPN are making fun of you, like, "Hey, Joe Blow over here is doing the Gator Chop in the swamp. Take a look at the scoreboard," type deal. So yeah, I'm with you on that. That's another correct answer.
All right.
You're doing well here at the end of the episode. All-time passing. So let's go to actual Florida Gator football. I got a couple trivia questions for you right now. The all-time passing yardage leader for the Florida Gator football program, all time. The man with the most passing yards ever Under center. Who do you got? He's stumped.
I don't think it's Tebow. Shane Matthews.
Shane Matthews is incorrect. He was number 3 on the list.
All
Number
right.
1, Chris Leak.
Oh, very good.
Mr. Leak threw for 11,213 yards in his career. Number 2 was Werfel. Werfel got a lot of play in his freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year.
Right.
And then Shane Matthews was number 3. All-time rushing yards leader for the Florida Gators, another position where we've had a lot of talent come in and out of the school. All-time rushing yards leader for a career for the Gators. Who do you got?
Eric Rett.
That is correct. Well done. Eric Rett was running the ball. I feel like when I was a freshman, he was the star. In 93, the fall of 93 was my first year there. And I think Eric Rett was running the ball. And number 2 was Emmett. Neil Anderson was number 3. Fred Taylor was number 4. Ernest Graham was number 5. Can you tell me who was number 6 in all-time rushing yards? This is a bit of a curveball. That's my only hint for you for number 6 all-time as of 2024, late September 2024, all-time Gator rushing yard number 6.
So if it's a curveball, I'll say Tebow.
Yes, sir. You're on fire. I think you're passing now. That's all I've got. That's all I have prepared. We've got roughly 7 minutes left.
Let me ask you a question. Right on the thing. The first year that Steve Spurrier took over the Florida Gators, first year of coaching, okay?
Yes.
What quarterback number, not number on the back of his jersey, what number in succession was Shane Matthews when Steve Spurrier showed up? What on the depth chart, what number was he?
What string was he? Well, with this question, it's probably not 1 or 2. I'm going to say 4.
Very close, but you're incorrect. You're wrong. It was number 5.
He was the 5th string quarterback.
Yes, sir.
And he ascended to number 1 that year?
Very, very quickly during camp, and boom, he picked him to be the guy. Uncorrect? Is that a word? Uncorrect?
I
don't think so.
I'll look that up. I don't think it's going to be a word.
Yeah, I don't think it's right.
What else? We got 5 minutes of fun left. What you want to?
Okay, and let's go back to an alligator. Where on the alligator do they not have muscle whatsoever? Where in an alligator does an alligator not have any muscle?
On their snout?
That is correct, sir. That's why right, you can take your hand and close it and then tape around it.
But the jaws, so
that's
you
a
can
different
just tape
story.
Around it with duct tape, and they can't open it because their opening up is not strong at all, but closing is very strong. How about this?
Yeah.
How about we do some movie lines?
Go ahead.
Surely you can't be serious.
That was Airplane.
Very good. Ding, ding, ding. Give me one.
You know I'm not good at these things.
Fine. I'll give you another one.
Okay.
We use words like honor, code, loyalty. We use these words.
Jack Nicholson
spent defending something. You use them as a punchline.
That's a few good men.
Thank you and be on your way. Or grab a weapon and stand a post. Either way, I don't give a damn what you think you're entitled to.
Few good men.
Yeah, that was pretty
Frankly,
easy.
My dear, I don't give a damn.
That's Casablanca? No. Gone with the Wind?
Yes, sir.
Gone with the Wind. Was that Clark Gable?
That was correct, sir.
Back when damn was a huge controversial term for
back in the 1930s and 40s it was, yeah.
How about this one? We got no food, we got no jobs, our pets' heads are falling off. You got nothing on that, do you?
That is that Will Ferrell?
No.
Yeah.
It's Dumb and Dumber. That was
Dumb and
Jim
Dumber.
Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
That was Jim Carrey. That's pretty much it. We didn't have a whole lot prepared for this episode, primarily because of Helene, also because of some doctor appointments. We had some other stuff going on. We did, but
Yeah,
we want to be men of our word.
that's
On
right.
our last episode on Tuesday, we said we'll be back on Friday with some trivia. I thought I'd get some game shows.
Do you know what the good thing is that I'll leave this with is actually when I've tried to stay off online on the social network garbage, but it's kind of refreshing that we can actually go a whole week without talking about firing the guy. Okay, I mean it's kind of refreshing right now that nobody's really into that whole thing right now, and it is what it is, and so I'm sure next week it'll start off again, and God help us if we don't beat Central Florida, which I believe we will.
Yeah.
Hey, what conference is Central Florida in?
UCF is in the American Conference?
Big 12.
UCF's in the Big 12 now?
That is correct, sir.
I looked at a list of conferences real quickly before we did the show, and it just listed 2 in the Pac-12. So Pac-12 is still a conference?
Well, they're officially still a conference, but it's
been
Oregon
dissolved.
State. It's Oregon State and Washington State, right?
That's it.
Yeah. Well, they both picked up. They're playing with some other conference next year, but nobody picked them up last year when everybody else left.
Okay. Well,
So-
final thoughts on the coaching search you were talking. The more I think about it, the more I think he's probably going to be with us for the majority of the season. He might get fired. If we lose 6 or 7 in a row, he might get fired before Florida State, but I think he's with us for the remainder of the season. Just the way that the rules are, they never want to be in a position where the University of Florida can't field a football team. That's the kind of bad news that would reverberate the university forever. So I feel like that, while it's not probable, it's possible if they were to fire him in the next couple of days.
You are correct, by the way, when you said earlier last episode, right away this week, there's a couple of players that have decided, I've played 3 games, I'm going to redshirt now. There are a couple of players in college football right now that are using this tactic, okay? Whether some have said, I didn't get my money I'm promised and this and all this other garbage that's out there. So it's created this whole NIL thing. It's just created a mess because now players, they don't want to play.
It really has. And you're talking about the UNLV quarterback. He led the team to a 3-0 or 4-0 record. And now him and his parents and his agent are saying that he hasn't gotten the money that he was promised. Plus they're owing him more because he's, playing at a high level. That's going to start happening until we get a hold on this stuff.
I do like some of the conversation that you put a cap on college a whole team, not only football, but all of the teams. You put a cap of money and that's all you can spend. So if they give everybody $30 million to say, okay, that means football, basketball, women's sports, baseball, whatever. I think that's the right way to go, okay? Put a cap on the damn thing and that's all you can spend. That will even everything out.
I agree. There'll be ways to cheat it, but it'll be much harder to cheat than it is not even cheating now. It's just the wild, wild west out there. But, all right, well, this was episode 10.
Great
Helene
episode.
on Earth. Hopefully everyone is safe. Hopefully everyone's getting their electricity back. They were saying, I'm up in Indiana. We had some showers and some storms today. They're saying that's Helene effects.
That is correct. Atlanta's getting hammered right now. Just 75, 80 mile an hour winds in Atlanta. It's bad. This is
all over the country.
Bad storm.
So everyone hunker down and do what you can to stay away from windows. That's the only advice I have. Stay away from windows.
Good enough.
But again, this was episode 10. We look forward to seeing you next week. This is a bye week, so enjoy your football without the stress of Gators up and down and turnovers and touchdowns and who's going to be our coach and who's playing well, who isn't. Enjoy this week. Root against the Seminoles. Root against Georgia, I guess. But I'm Mike. That's Pops. Chomp Time Podcast. We'll see you next week on Tuesday.
Go Gators!
Go Gators!